In order to highlight the importance of Israel going to Eden, Moses stressed the holy character of that place. He pointed to the holiness of Eden to teach Israel that the promised land to which he was leading them was the place where they could receive the blessing of entering into the special presence of God. The primary way in which Moses conveyed the holiness of Eden was to describe it in terms that he also used to describe the tabernacle. Although God is omnipresent and lives in every place in a general sense, Moses built a tabernacle where God came in a special way to meet with his people. And at this tabernacle, God would display his presence, give his law, receive the worship of his people, and bless them with his favor. So when Moses depicted the Garden of Eden in terms which he also used to describe the tabernacle, he revealed that Eden, and thus Canaan, was the place of God's special presence on earth. There, Israel could receive the great blessings of God. At least 7 aspects of Eden indicate that it was a holy place of God's special presence, much like the tabernacle. First, in chapter 3, verse 8, Moses used a special expression when he said that God was walking in the garden. The Hebrew expression translated walking is mithalech. This terminology is significant because it's one of the special ways in which Moses described God's presence at the tabernacle in Leviticus chapter 26, verse 12, and other passages. Second, in chapter 2, verse 9, we read about the tree of life as a central feature in the Garden of Eden. This sacramental tree held the power to give eternal life to those who ate from it. And although the Bible does not say this explicitly, recent archaeological research has noted that many sites in the ancient world had stylized images of the tree of life in sacred places. This evidence strongly suggests that the menorah, the 7-pronged lampstand of Moses' tabernacle, was most likely a stylized representation of the tree of life. In this way, the Garden of Eden is shown to be the original holy place on earth. A third way in which Moses noted the holiness of Eden was his focus on gold and onyx in the region. In chapter 2, verse 12, we learn that gold and onyx were bountiful in the region of Eden. As we might expect, Exodus chapters 25 through 40 mention gold and onyx as important parts of the tabernacle construction. A fourth connection between the Garden of Eden and the tabernacle is the presence of cherubim, or angels. According to chapter 3, verse 24, God placed cherubim in the Garden of Eden to guard against access to the tree of life. In a similar way, cherubim appear throughout the decorations of the tabernacle in passages such as Exodus 25, verse 18, and chapter 37, verse 9. These cherubim reminded Israel not only of the angels in heaven, but also of the angels guarding the holy place in Eden. Fifth, we read in chapter 3, verse 24, that the entrance of Eden was in the east, that is, on the eastern side. This fact may seem insignificant until we realize that according to Exodus 27, verse 13, and a number of other passages, the main entrance for the tabernacle was also on the eastern side. This was the case with most temples in the ancient Near East. Once again, Eden is shown to be a holy dwelling of God. Sixth, Moses spoke of Adam's service in Eden with language that he used elsewhere for Levitical service in the tabernacle. In chapter 2, verse 15, Moses described Adam's responsibility in the garden in this way: God put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. These terms also appear together in Numbers chapter 3, verses 7 and 8, and 8:26. There, Moses described the work of the Levites in the tabernacle using the same expressions. Adam and Eve served as priests in the Garden of Eden. Seventh, it's significant that the formation of the Garden of Eden took place after the 6 days of creation. As we saw in the preceding lesson, the 6 days of creation climaxed in God's Sabbath observance in Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Interestingly enough, according to Exodus 24:16 and following, Moses spent 6 days on the mountain with God, and God gave him the instructions to build the tabernacle on the 7th day. These 7 features of Eden show that Moses considered the Garden of Eden to be a holy place, much like the tabernacle. It was the location of God's special presence in the world, and to be near that place was to be near the blessings of God. As we've already seen, Moses believed that Canaan was the location of Eden. As a result, in focusing on the holy character of Eden, Moses was also drawing attention to the holy character of Canaan. To be near Canaan was to be near the place God ordained from the beginning as His holy dwelling. One of the best passages for seeing Moses teaching about this future holy place is Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 10 through 11. There he wrote these words, "You will cross the Jordan and settle in the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and He will give you rest from all your enemies around you, so that you will live in safety. Then to the place the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for His name, there you are to bring everything I command you, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, and all the choice possessions you have vowed to the Lord." This passage reveals one of the central features of Moses' vision of the land of Canaan. He emphasized that one day Canaan would be the location of the permanent dwelling for the presence of God, the temple for Yahweh. To be sure, the land of Canaan in Moses' day was a mere shadow of what Eden had originally been. Even when Solomon built the temple in Jerusalem, the promised land was still not entirely redeemed from sin, nor restored to its original perfection. Yet, as Moses wrote about the holiness of Eden, he held before the Israelites the vision of what their land could be one day. To reach the promised land was to move into the vicinity of Eden, the place of God's holy presence on earth. Just as God placed Adam and Eve in the wonderful temple garden in the beginning, God was now bringing Israel to Canaan, and once they dwelled in that land, the nation would begin to experience the blessings of living in the special presence of God.